This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is not America's Sweetheart, Davian. And
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy Jane.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the viral one, Millz Hendrix, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Let's go viral.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, James J., and it's a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the Bronx Prodigy, the viral one, Millz Hendrix.
Let's go viral. You already know the vibes. I'm glad you had me on today.
And we're happy to have you on as well, Millz. How are you, and what's coming up next?
I'm good. I have a couple bookings coming up. I will be going back to the Midwest this May. I will also be doing a couple stuff. I just came back from Florida. And if you're new to my work, I'm on IWTV, Title Match Network, and I'm also on YouTube. You could search Millz Hendrix or the Bronx Prodigy Millz Hendrix. You can follow me on the Instagram, Twitter, or wherever social media you have. My hashtag is the same for both, Millz Hendrix BX _.
All right, and you don't need to go looking for those links. All of those links will be in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox. You got merchandise?
Yes, I got merchandise on Pro Wrestling Tees, and I also have Teespring. If you follow me on my social media, I have the link in the bio.
Perfect. And I will put those links in the description of the video below as well. Alright, let's get into it. You work for Battle Club Pro and Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Can you tell us about your relationship with those companies?
Of course. I actually had my first match in the business with Paradise Alley in a show they call Alley Fights. It's mostly every month on the first or second Friday. And I actually currently train under the Fallout Shelter, which is the official training school of the Battle Club Wrestling Company.
So, Paradise Alley is kind of home, so to speak.
So to speak, I've been having most of my matches there since mid 2021, but I've been mostly focused on branching out, like going to the Midwest, going down south. This year, I'm trying to go to the West Coast. I'm trying to make that happen, so that will be in the works. Stay tuned. And yeah, I've been in Paradise Alley. I've been in the Fallout Seek Shelter shows. That's been Battle Club, under Battle Club umbrella. I've been doing Midwest All-Star Wrestling too. Had my first title match and my first ever Midwest match, which was exciting. I had a chance to meet a new crowd. As soon as I came out, they started chanting new champ, new champ. And I never seen an atmosphere like Midwest All-Star Wrestling, so shout out to them. And recently I just did WWN Proving Grounds, which is in Tampa Bay, Florida. It's the developmental of WWN, which used to have Evolve, used to be the parent company of Evolve, but now they have FIP and Shine and et cetera, et cetera. So I was grateful to have that Proving Ground experience, and I'm just trying to build the momentum going.
Right. It seems like you don't want to, be known for just being one place. You want to be, at least nationally known for right now.
Yep.
And then obviously globally.
course, that's what being the viral one is all about, getting your name out there, going to state to state to state, soon country to country, and making sure my name in the industry ring bells with the fans, with the promoters, with the fellow wrestlers. It's also, I'm all about building that rapport, building connections, networking. So that's basically what the viral one is about in a nutshell.
Was your first time? You mentioned you just recently wrestled for Florida. Was that your first time competing in Florida?
No, it was actually my second time. I've been wrestling in Proving Grounds twice.
And you mentioned, having your first title match as well. What was that experience like?
Amazing. It's, to me right now, that's the standard bearer when I'm trying to like measure my career. I look at that and I'm trying to go above and beyond. So the experience, I came in thinking like it was, it's a regular match. I'm trying to get my name out, show the promoter. I did not expect the pop and the chant I got from that crowd that day, and that will always live in my heart. So cause I'm a new guy. I was a new guy. That crowd didn't know me from like a hole in the wall. And for them to chant new champ, they wanted to see me win, which it meant the world to me, to be honest. It really meant the world to me. And I will always be proud and grateful for that moment.
Right. Well, the one match I couldn't resist looking up was the one against Brother Greatness. Can you tell us about being in the ring with Brother Greatness and that experience?
Believe it or not, Brother Greatness was one of my first trainers. So when I got a chance to wrestle him in the Paradise Alley King of Paradise tournament, it was like I was like a kid in the candy store, like a match I wanted since I first started training, because I was under his ring, I was under his tutelage. He was teaching me how to move in the business, the fundamentals. So when I got the chance to wrestle him, like that's one of the matches, like compared to my title match that I talked about earlier, that match with Brother Greatness is up there when it comes to like emotionally, because what he means to me as a person, and to this day I still go to him for advice if I need help with certain stuff in the business. So he's always been a mentor to me, and I'm glad I had that match. But I would like to mix it up with him again.
I can imagine. Like, what did you kind of learn about your own career and where you're at right now? Being in there with one of the guys that kind of brought you in, and obviously a student versus teacher moment.
Yeah, it's just like it's for me. It's still unreal and overwhelming, like in a good way. Like I came from like this. How can I say this? I came from like the bottom. I live in the Bronx currently. That's one of the 5 boroughs of New York City. Nobody knew, like 3 years ago, nobody knew who I was. And then learning the ropes from Brother Greatness, learning the ropes from the Fallout Shelter, learning the ropes from I trained at Technique to Training 2 and T2T, learning the ropes from those different schools and building my rapport, showing I'm the viral one, going to Connecticut to face Brother Greatness, going to Minnesota having that title match, going to Florida having those couple matches. It's just me trying to like show I'm here and I'm here to stay, and it doesn't matter who I'm in the ring with. Whoever I'm in the ring with, we're gonna go viral, we're gonna make magic, and it's gonna be a good night. That's just how I feel about my career going far. I feel like I haven't even touched the ceiling, and there's more to come. So hopefully 2023 is the year of the viral one.
Oh, absolutely. And just a little Easter egg for anybody that wants to go check that match out. The guy that gives Photo Greatness the pan that for the donation pan is friend of the show Don Kincaid.
I actually been on Don Kincaid's show. I had a good conversation with him. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I love Don. Shout out to Don.
Yeah, he's amazing. Even when I see him at shows, he's always vocal. He always makes his appearance out there. Always want to talk to the wrestlers. Shout out to Don. He's one of the best I met, and you know.
Oh, I definitely know. I mean, a lot of my research came from his YouTube channel, just the matches that he recorded of you.
Yeah, yeah. He's always in the crowd. Shout out to Don.
Yeah.
He's always vocal. He's always recording. He always posting up everybody's match from the Connecticut scene. So, I appreciate it. And when we got to talking, I like, he's a good vibe. He's just a good vibe.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right. You mentioned working for training with T2 team, and now you're working with Mike Law. So,
Yes.
can you tell us maybe some of the difference you found training with obviously Logan Black and Mike Law? Because having spoken to both of them, two very different personalities.
Right.
So, what has been some of the differences that you've experienced training in both schools?
Um, to be honest, a lot like every school I've been to, it's been kind of the same, but kind of different, like in the way that the structure is. And there's no right or wrong. Like it's a flavor of ice cream stuff.
Right.
I appreciate what I learned. To this day, I still use what I learned in T2T in my matches, and to this day, I'm still learning, and I'm learning how to add, so to speak, add to the stuff I already know. Everything I learned from T2T or everything I learned from the BWF. That's where I first started in 2018, and everything I'm learning in the Fallout shelter, I'm just adding it up and making like a, how can I say it, my own style.
Right.
Like put in a little bit of each place, but adding a little bit of the viral one to everything I learned, if that makes sense.
No, it absolutely does, and that's a great way of looking at it. It's not, again, love Logan in his school, but you
Yeah.
can't always say, take everything that they say as, gospel, so to speak.
I mean, what I learned over there, it's, how can I say this? It's, you could take it as gospel because it's just a flavor of ice cream. Like
Right.
you're gonna learn this way, you're gonna learn that way, you're gonna learn this way. It's all about, to me, being coachable. And if you're coachable, you always have a place in the business. It's all about knowing what you know here, but maybe this place is different, so I'm gonna add to it, but still stay true to myself. If that makes sense.
No, absolutely, and that's being coachable is one of those skills that really
Yeah.
help wrestlers progress a lot more.
Yeah, because you never stop learning in this business, no matter where you go. You might learn something different, you might use it, but then you be like, oh, let me just add to this. Maybe make this, make it your own style. And it's like when I first started and I looked at my training videos from like 2018 to right now, it's a big progression. Like sometimes when I first started, I look at my videos and I cringe because I'm like, ooh, maybe I wasn't as good as I was. But then it's all about the learning curve, and you always evolve year by year. That's why with me, it's always like, all right, it's not me versus everybody. It's just me versus myself. How I was last year compared to how I am this year, compared to how I am the year after. Like I'm always trying to grow and I'm always trying to learn, and I always got that ear open for whoever, wanna help me. Be like, all right, I think you're doing this, but you could do this. And it's also about networking and meeting new people, seeing different perspectives, because nobody has a wrong perspective. Everybody has different perspective, and it's all about seeing those flavors of ice cream, no matter where you go, and adding your flavor. Maybe he likes chocolate, they like vanilla, but I like cookies and cream. You feel me? So that's how I look at it.
No, that's awesome. Are you a cookie and cream guy? Is that your your flavor of choice?
That's my go-to. That's actually my go-to.
Well, I like strawberry, but I can no complaints about cookies and cream for sure.
Yeah.
Um, But correct me if I'm wrong. 2022 was your first full year of pro wrestling from January to
Yes.
January. Um,
Yes.
So how going into this year, let's say next January, are you
Yeah.
going to compare the full year? Have you already compared the couple months you had in 21, or is 2022 like the first full marker of, okay, this is where I was and this is where I'm going, so to speak?
All right. Uh, Good question. I love that question. But the way I look at it, so my 2021, I started like halfway. Like I started in August, and
Okay.
then when I first started, I started making these goal marks. Like where do I see myself in a year? What do I see myself doing? And the first thing in my mind, I was picturing myself. Like I had a couple talks with my trainers, got their perspective and stuff, and then I just started writing down in my notepad on my iPhone. What do I want to do? I said, okay, I see everybody's going this direction. Let me go the opposite way. Let me branch out. While everybody's trying to make their name in the East Coast, let me do something different. Let me branch out. Let me go to the Midwest. Let me see how I fare out in the Midwest, or let me see how I fare out down south. And just had a lot of studying. I started studying matches. I started studying interviews. I started studying this website called Cage Match. I started studying certain indie wrestlers and how they started their careers. And I'm like, okay, so I want to do the Midwest. I want to do X, Y, and Z. I want to go here and I want to go here. So that's how I started in 2021. And then I head up the companies. I put my applications out there, my resumes, everything I've done in my 2021. And I used that to springboard into 2022. So now the way I'm thinking about 2023 is like, all right, I did this, and that. So what didn't I do last year, and what can I do better this year? So I wrote it down on my notepad. Now, since I did the Midwest, since I did down south, now I'm thinking, okay, so I'm gonna have more matches on the East Coast because I didn't have that much matches on the East Coast last year. I had a Connecticut and I did New York mostly. I want to do more states in the East Coast, maybe Jersey, maybe Massachusetts, maybe New Hampshire. So I'm thinking about that, and I'm also thinking about seeing what my peers are doing, and their focus is going outside the country. So now it's me wanting to go outside the country. I'm working on getting the passport. I'm working on, getting the license, getting the driver's license, getting, all the things I need to get done. So hopefully this year or maybe 2024, I could springboard to outside the country.
You don't have a driver's license?
Yeah, it's something that I don't know. I wish I would have done it early, but I was always like,
I mean, you live in New York, right?
yeah, we take the subway all the time, so it's like convenient.
I mean, it
But
makes
it's
sense.
also
I mean, not a lot of people in New York have driver's license, but I feel like a lot of the wrestlers kind of have to have it just because they have to go places outside
I,
New York.
I started noticing that when I started traveling. I was like, ooh, a driver's license would come in handy. And it was also like I was always afraid to go behind the wheel because I see it. Like I was always when I was younger, I used to play Need for Speed and I used to play all these racing games, and I used to be like, damn, I'll be a horrible driver. But now, but now I'm like, I see like you it's like learning wrestling. You're not depending on who you are, you're not always gonna start off good. Maybe I won't start good as a good driver, but as it progresses, like my wrestling career, I could become a good driver. So that's how I've been thinking more optimistic lately about driving. And I used to, before I even started traveling, I had a fear of planes because I don't know. I never like being in like situations I can't control. But when I took my first plane ride, I loved it, and now I started just love taking planes. Like it's just one of those things.
No, I get it. And as long as you just don't go Need for Speed speeds,
Yeah,
I think you'll be
yeah, of course.
okay.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Always obey the laws of the road.
Yeah, yeah.
You mentioned taking your notepad and writing down? Is it that pen to paper or just on your phone?
It's on my phone
Okay.
because I don't know. Everything is technology nowadays, and like growing up, I wasn't like I used to write, but I wasn't like a big writer. Like I passed my my school tests and all that, but it wasn't. I never really liked it because it's not. How can I say this? It's a lot of work, and when you're growing up, you just want to live life.
Right.
So I changed a little bit. Like now, I started reading more. I started writing more, and I started like doing research, seeing this and that. Because I'm in the wrestling business, I gotta do my research. I gotta know stuff. I gotta read books. I gotta study tape. So over the years, it changed. So when I have the time, I write in my notebook I have in my house. But when I don't have it accessible, mostly like when I'm at work or when I'm in the gym, I use my notepad on my phone.
No, I completely understand that because as we're speaking right now, my notes are on my tablet. And
Yeah.
if I actually had to write down my notes, I think that I wouldn't be able to to read them.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I had horrible handwriting growing up.
Yeah.
And sometimes, because I'm a security guard in my regular job, and when I had to write the incident report, so God forbid anything happens, I got to report it and write it down. I look at my handwriting, I'm like, oof, no wonder why I use my phone.
Yeah. No, I can relate to that. You mentioned being a security guard. I can imagine that there are some maybe odd or bizarre things you've seen. Is that the case?
It's crazy, not really, because I work in Midtown Manhattan, and I work in like one of those higher end buildings where
Okay.
you got the CEO, the executives walk in. It's that type of building. I see around like when I'm going to work on the trains, we see weird stuff because it's New York City.
Of course.
And then, but when it comes to work, thank God, I haven't encountered one of those moments. I just I'm in my desk. I talk to my fellow coworkers. We talk about like what's next. We talk about like this is why I like security too, because when it comes to wrestling, you can network, but when it comes to other stuff and other aspects, you can network about other stuff like how you could branch in life after wrestling or what could you do, like so it's cool that I'm a wrestler, but I also think about like life after wrestling because right now I'm hitting 30 next year. So it's like I know this is not gonna be forever. So always have that plan B. So when I'm not wrestling, I use my security and I talk to the CEOs of the building or the regular security guards to pick their brains to see what their goals are looking like. Because I get inspired not just from wrestling, I get inspired from like everyday life, from the person I talk to on the train or the person I hang out on a daily basis or the person I work with, fellow colleagues. Like hearing other people's experiences and other people's stories inspire me to achieve my goals to do better in my life. Because like I said from earlier, I came from nothing. I live in the Bronx and one of the, how can I say this, not so friendly neighborhoods.
Right.
And I always, growing up, seeing all the stuff I seen, I always want like, how can I get out of this? What's my escape? Because nobody want to live. I love my place. I love my borough, but nobody want to live in a bad neighborhood all their life. They want to, make it out, have a nice living, have a nice family. I think about stuff like that. So when it comes to like me chasing my goals, since I was 5 years old, I love wrestling. That was my escape. And I used to get made fun of in the class. I used to, oh, he's the wrestling guy, this, and that. But I never let it affect me because I know that's going to be my escape. And that's going to be the reason why I'll be successful. So it's just me right now. I'm just in a place in my life where I want to learn from wrestling, do my thing, see where it takes me. But if it doesn't pan out, I got other stuff in line for me and other goals I could achieve. But just to say I did it, it's a achievement in myself. Like it's an achievement in itself because like nobody I grew up with expected me to become where I become a professional wrestler, because it's a hard industry to get into. Now now everybody's like, oh, I'm proud of you. You stuck to your dream. You stuck to what you believe in. So that's, if anybody's listening, don't be afraid to achieve your dreams, because you can make it a reality if you work hard and you bust your behind and meet the right people. Always network. That's why I learned one thing I learned in high school is networking. And you could take networking from wrestling. You could take networking for your local job. Try to get that promotion. Try to get that raise. It doesn't matter unless you have that gift of talking and you meeting, being friendly, meeting new people. The sky's the limit for you. So that's my advice for anybody that's listening.
That's awesome. Not a lot of people, think about the life after wrestling aspect. So that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. You were 202 on the top 500 black wrestlers list, and you were 380
Yes,
on the Latin X list. What
yes.
does that mean to you?
To be honest, being 202, I really didn't expect that my first year. Especially in a list like the Black Wrestling list. Like when I first came in, that's a list I wanted to make it in. I was like, excuse my language. I'm gonna work my ass off to make it on that list, because I seen my peers making it on that list before I did. But I always thought I would start off in the 400s. So when I seen the list this year and that says 202, to me, that's a big accomplishment, because I know that shows my hard work is paying off. That shows that people is watching the Youngin on his grind, people watching the Viral One, people watching the Bronx Prodigy, and that shows that the sky, like I said earlier, the sky's the limit for me if I just keep sticking to my grind and keep doing my thing. So being on those lists, I'm very proud. It's one of those big accomplishments for me that I'm just checking off, the bucket list, the to-do list. I'm like, all right, I did that. What's next? I'm gonna just keep the momentum rolling, keep the ball rolling. That I can only go up from here. That's how I feel. Like, I'm honored, and it's a privilege to be on those type of lists with the type of wrestlers that's on that list. And it's just, I'm speechless, to be honest. Like, it's just a big honor. It's a big honor.
And obviously you're 202 on the top 500 black wrestlers list. Is there
Yeah.
a specific number or goal you're looking at for 2023?
It's cliche. Everybody want to be number one,
Of
but
course.
to be realistic, I'm 202 this year. I'm gonna be in the top 100 next year, and I know I gotta work and grind and get better, and got stuff to improve on to be on that type of that number. But I'm gonna reach that goal, and I'm because I'm very goal orientated, and I've been like that since I was young. Like, all right, I did this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And it just keeps me motivated. That's why when I first came into business, I called myself the youngin' on his grind, because it shows that I'm not going to stop grinding. I'm still going to be me. I'm still going to work my butt off. I'm still going to reach the top, because I'm going for the top, and I want to break that glass ceiling, so to speak. And I just feel like being the Viral One, it's like, it's confidence, not cocky. I just want to be on the top. I want that top spot, and whoever got it, I'm just gonna come for it. If I fail, I fail, but I'm not gonna fail, because I've been marking these checklists since the beginning I came in. So it's like, I'm just trying to reach the top. That's basically it. And then, long story short.
All right. Can you tell us about your rivalry with Fly Nye Norega?
That rivalry, that rivalry. Nah, the way I don't know if he feels the same. I look at it like, like he's one of my, I say one of my top 5 rivals I have in the beginning. Like it's kind of weird, because like when I was in the ring with him, I felt like there's only a few person I felt this with actually. It was in but I talked about this one. I just felt like our chemistry clicked, and that I like because we kind of come for the same cloth, but we different at the same time. He thinks, and more power to him. He thinks he's the flyest in the room. He thinks he's the top dog, and I'm like, I'm the viral one. I'm the top dog. Nobody's flyer than me. So it's one of those. I don't want to say it, but it's one of those rock and stone cold situations where two people just gunning for the top spot in the East Coast. So I put him on one of my top 5 favorite rivalries from my starting career because I know that list is going to keep going, but he's one of my favorite rivals. Yeah. And the match we had, I felt like we hit it out the ballpark.
It does seem like you've had some interesting exchanges on Twitter as well. Well, he can't seem to let go of that loss to you.
Yeah. That was a handicap match, and I knew that loss maybe to this day still eats at him, but he got hit, and then it's like he got his win on me. So now I feel like we need that rubber match to see who's really the top dog, and I feel like I'm gonna come up on top because I'm the viral one. I'm the Bronx Prodigy, and I'm doing my thing. And nobody, like I said, nobody in this business is gonna stop me. Nobody in this business is gonna come in my way, and that includes Prime Night. So if he ever want to go 1-on-1 again, I'm all for it, because we got some unfinished business there, so to speak.
All right. Now, and you don't have to tell me about this if you don't feel comfortable.
Okay.
Can you tell us about El Angel Apocalypto?
That's the homie. Rest in peace. That's who we did it for. Me and my tag partner HAM, aka the Notorious Ham. We do it for him because we started. Well, it was us three. It was technically 4. Shout out to Drew Doobie. It was 4 of us. It was Drew Doobie, Angel Apocalyptico, Ham, and me. And the BWF, we was the new guys. We was trying to get that, we try to get our foot in the door. It was all 4 of us. And we from the BWF, we went to T2T together. So it was like, when we lost him, God rest his soul, when we lost him, it was a big blow to our heart. And all 3 of us said we're going to dedicate 2022 and beyond to him. So every match I think I think about him because he should be here with us to this day. And he was one of those guys, like, he was cool with everybody. He picks everybody's brain. He wanted to learn, and he didn't let his disability stop him from learning. So it was like, we do it for him because we know he's watching down, and he wants us to do good. He don't want us to like dwell what happened, but we're always gonna do it for him, and we're always gonna, how can I say this, have him in our hearts. We miss him dearly. So rest in peace, Andrew.
Yeah, rest in peace for sure. It does seem like he made a major impact and impression on your life and career.
Yeah, he was my top rival before we had a rival, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like me and him in training, we used to go at it because I wanted to push him. I always wanted him to be better. And and for that, it was like tough love for him. But he used to do the same with me. He wanted me to be better. He wanted to push me. And it's crazy because he never got to have that first match in a big promotion. And we always was trying to push that for him. But we just gonna live vicariously through him, and we're gonna live day by day, so just doing our thing just for him, because he's, like I said, he should be here with us doing his thing. But yeah, we miss him. We miss him dearly.
Hey, can you tell us about your tag team partner, Ham the Lucha Pig?
Yes, I could tell you all about him. Number one, I can't stand him. No, that's our gimmick. That's our gimmick. He's like that annoying brother that wants to just, try to do good, try to show some. And I'm like that tough love brother that's like, no, do your own thing, let me be. But it plays off smooth with us because that's when we in the Fallout. That's how our tag team is. But when we go to other places, I open up to him more because I know he has potential, and we just had a match together, and it was like in Florida we fought each other, and it was an interesting interesting match. But me and him, I don't know how to say it. It's like I think of like a good analogy to compare the both of us. I can't think of one right now, but it's like he's like, how can I say this?
You're so close.
He's like,
You're like the little brother.
he's older than me, so he's like you can see the little older brother that just wants, to make the tag team work, and I'm that brother that want to do his own thing, but when we come together, we can make magic, depending on what type of mood I'm in. So that's basically our tag team. It's like a, I'm trying to think of a cartoon. No, I can't think of one right now. Damn, I'm mad about that.
Motivated like Orange Cassidy, you could make magic.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like I can't even think of an analogy. That's how awkward it is. It's not awkward in the bad way, but like in the good way. Like shout out to him because he doing his thing, and his thing was great too. He's going to Colorado. He's making those flights. He's making those trips. So shout out to him, and he's a good, like, he's over everywhere we go. Like we went to Florida, the people in the back loved him because he's a comedy pig. So he's a flying lucha pig. What's not to like about him? But it's like
absolutely.
my character is more like a serious, goal-oriented character. So when you put a comedy guy and a goal-oriented, it's like it makes magic. But it's like I want him to be more serious, like me. It's not about making people laugh. It's about winning matches. That's basically, there we go. That's the analogy I'm looking for. It's about winning matches to the viral one, but to the pig is about having a good time. And me as the serious, want to win matches, want to be competitive guy, I'm trying to show him the way of how to be competitive. But he's like, no, let's have a good time. Let's laugh. Let's, So that's basically our tag team in a nutshell.
What's a pet peeve you just don't understand about him?
I wouldn't say a pet peeve, but like, as in, like in real life, or just in like our tag team.
Either one.
Because in real life, I love him. That's my guy. We started together. And everybody knows we have when we train together, our chemistry is second to none. But in character, it's like, Ham, stop being so joke. Stop being the life of a party. Stop being the joke. It's time to win. It's time to get back. It's time to prove every one of the best tag teams in the East Coast. But that's just how we are. That's how we ride. That's how we chemistry. But when the cameras are off, we always conversation about anything. Like I could talk to him about anything, even though like we have that odd couple-ish in the camera doesn't mean we're gonna have that odd couple, that odd couple chemistry off camera. Like he's one of my best friends in the business, if that makes sense.
No, it absolutely does. But I do have to ask, how many times have you told him that you saved his bacon?
I never told him that, to be honest.
The joke is right there.
I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna keep that in my back pocket.
Alright, that was the workshop period of the interview.
Yeah.
Alright. Can you tell us about never taking the Greyhound bus again?
Ooh. Never taking care. I could tell you about that story. So it was right after I had that title match. I had a booking in Cincinnati, and the plane ticket was kind of, I didn't like the prices of the plane ticket, so I was like, how can I get there a different way of getting there? So I was like, that wouldn't hurt. Let's take a Greyhound. Worst idea ever. Worst idea ever. Because every city, like I want to say, I got on in New York. It stops in Pittsburgh. We get off in Pittsburgh. Got to switch buses to go to Columbus. Then Columbus, we switch buses to go to Ohio. And sometimes the bus don't come in schedule. You might think the bus was so slow you missed your bus, and it's like it's too juggle and unorganized. If I had to choose now, I wouldn't take a Greyhound. I'd probably take a Amtrak train or now I'm just gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna fly, because the taking that bus was just the worst experience in traveling.
Oh yeah.
But when I got to Cincinnati, I had one of the best matches of my young career. It was a six-way scramble match with JDX, Malcolm Monroe 3, Savion. I forget who else in the match. I'm sorry, but it was one of the best matches I ever had. And I always look back through it to this day, because the chemistry I had with all 5 of those guys in that match, it was just, I didn't know them from a hole in the wall, and to have that type of chemistry with them and make them match like that, it was like, wow, it's just magic. That's how I could explain it. It's just magic. So that's one of my favorite matches when it comes down to like 2022. The matches I had is the title match, the match with Brother Greatness, and that 6-way tag match. Those are my top 3 matches.
All right. Well, I've yet to find somebody that actually likes going on the Greyhound bus, and I doubt I ever will.
Yeah, me either. Like I was in the locker room. I was telling the guys, yeah, I took a Greyhound here. They always like, why would you do that to yourself? So I'm like, it was just a last minute thing, and I was like, I would never do it to myself again. I tell you that.
All right. It's time for that segment once again. Millz Hendrix Bizarre Adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits that description?
Because usually I don't really have like a road story, because lately I've been just traveling by myself. And it's just nothing personal. I just like traveling by myself because I get to clear my mind. I get to think about other stuff. So a road story, I don't really have any.
All right, fair enough. All right. Can you tell us about your love of the Mets?
Yes, that's my favorite team. It's been my favorite team since I was 12 years old. Because when I was in 6th grade, I had a teacher. She was a diehard Mets fan. And this is before I liked baseball. This was before anything. And she took us to a Mets game. And when we went to the Mets game, the Mets actually won that game too. We was facing the rival, the Phillies. And there was this player by the name of Carlos Delgado. And in the time, he was one of the best players in all of Major League Baseball. Hit home run after home run after home run after home run. And seeing him hit a home run in person, it turned me into a Met fan, because it's like, I'm from New York. I'm from the Bronx. They cheer for the Yankees. They go for the Yankees. And that's the 27 championships. And the Mets, when I look at the Mets, it reminds me of myself. It reminds me of that underdog that's trying to climb to the top and prove right they're the best. So it just, when it comes to the Mets, I'm always going to bleed orange and blue. Even though I'm from the Bronx and that's a Queens team, I don't look at it like that. I look at it as a New York team, and I'm from New York. That's basically my love for the Mets.
Well, my friend and co-host Scooter Dust is from New York as well, and he is also a Mets fan. And I'm always joking with him. The Yankees are literally right there.
Yeah.
Why do you do that to yourself?
Yeah, but lately we've been better than the Yankees. So it's like, to Mets fans, the Yankees' 27 championships don't really mean anything, because let's be honest, I don't know if there's any Yankee fans listening, and I apologize in advance, but y'all haven't won I said wrestling. You haven't won a World Series. You haven't won a World Series since I was in high school, so that should tell you something. The Mets went to a World Series 6 years ago, so it's like, who really is controlling New York right now? And to be honest, we got the richest owner in the game, so shout out to the Mets. Let's go Mets.
And who has the most recent championship? The Dodgers. Go LA.
Yeah, they one of our rivals, LA Dodgers. They one of the Mets' big rivals.
Yeah, but I'm in Los Angeles, so
Yeah, but I don't know. I see what the Dodgers are doing, and I applaud them. They're a good baseball team, but you know, everybody's gonna have their team, and my team happens to be the Mets.
hey, no issues from here.
Yeah.
All right. You are the viral one. What is your favorite viral video?
See, and now I'm glad you asked me that question because, like, me being the viral one, I'm trying to change that dynamic of that viral video, that viral, you know, that in crowd video, so to speak. Like, I'm trying to go the opposite way. I'm trying to, you know, show a different side of the viral one. I'm trying to show not to go viral, but to show that I'm gonna make it to the top, and my name is gonna ring bells whether y'all like it or not. And my favorite viral, I don't really have a viral video because I don't like TikTok. TikTok, that's a big pet peeve of mine. It's like I don't know. I just don't like TikTok. it's weird. It's a how you say, an oxymoron, so to speak.
Honestly, I kind of love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just trying to change the dynamic because when people think about going viral, they think about that one thing to have that 15 minutes of fame, and it's, to me, it's like, no, I don't want that 15 minutes of fame. I want all the fame. So that's how I'm perceive myself. That's why I call myself the viral one. It's to change that dynamic and have people think different, so they don't always think about that video or that thing, that crazy thing that they think about. Oh, what's this guy doing and why he's doing it, and what's the method to his madness, or what's the method to him going, like, the way I see it is me going state to state and the fans cheering for me and the fans knowing they coming to my merch table and buying something. That's going viral to me. That's why I call myself the viral one, because it's not just in one place. It's everywhere I go. Not just New York, not just Florida, not just Minnesota. Everybody's going to cheer my name and everybody's going to know who I am. So that's the different dynamic which I speak of. Not just that one thing I did in the internet. It's me going to constantly a new place and making them people know who I am.
So no Wednesday Adam dance, no Charlie bit my finger, pizza wrap, etc.
That Wednesday Adam dance, it's crazy because my mom wanted us to do it. So that's how I know. It's like, it's really trending. When my mom's in her 50s, she don't really do TikTok. She's mostly like a Facebook, Instagram girl. So it was like when she told me, yeah, I want to do that dance, I'm like, oh, not you too. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed that show. It was a good show, but it's like, it's not my thing.
Yeah. No, I get it. Alright, well, something that will maybe become your thing one time, the colossal question. Let's say they're making a movie about Millz Hendrix.
Okay.
Every movie has a soundtrack. What would be the first 3 songs on your movie soundtrack up to this point?
Does it have to be a new song, or it could be a song from the 90s?
Anything you want. There's no rules.
I'm gonna pick one song from my top 3 favorite rappers. So I'm gonna say Fabulous Breathe, Forever by Drake, and The Race by Wiz Khalifa.
Okay. You had those lined up. You were ready for this question.
Yeah, because last time I did a podcast, somebody asked me a similar question, and I didn't know what to say. Like, because I couldn't, like, I don't know. At the time, I was a new guy and I wasn't quick, a quick thinker. So me studying myself and studying past podcasts, I get to see what type of questions, not just any podcast, but like get an idea how podcasts work. So me me getting an idea, I gotta have have these questions or have these answers in the back of my head. So me doing podcasts in the past and me studying how I did that prepares me for future podcasts in the future, if that makes sense.
That's a really. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say something like that, and I've been doing this for quite some time now. No,
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be a student of the game, and that means like study all aspects, not just the wrestling and ring work, but like stuff you do outside the ring. So I watch my own stuff. I watch my matches. I watch my interviews, and I'm like, oh, what could I do better? What can I do to improve? And that's just me. I just want to get better. I just want to be the young and score, and I just want to improve on my craft. And if that means in the ring, that means in the interview space, that means in my job, that's what I'm gonna do.
and that might be one of my favorite answers I've ever had on this show. Honestly, I love that.
Yeah, I'm honored. To be honest, I'm honored. And
Now
that's
now we got the soundtrack down. Then you obviously get the soundtrack. Then you write the script, and then you cast. Who plays
yeah.
Millz? And you can't say yourself because you're obligated to do a Stan Lee-esque cameo.
So does it have to be like a current actor
Anybody you
or
want. They have
or
CGI now.
mm, who plays Mills? I don't know, cause I don't feel like anybody could be me like how I'm me. So it's like that's a crazy question, to be honest. Who plays Mills?
Hmm.
Hmm. Uh, Damn, I can't say myself. 'Cause
You can't
nobody
say
could be,
yourself.
because nobody. I feel like nobody could be Mills. Like that's just how I feel. Like I'm one of a kind. I'm different. So if a person they're gonna play me in a movie gotta have that aspect. They gotta be different. They gotta be one of their kind. They gotta branch out from everybody else and do their own thing. So who could really do that? I'm trying to think, and I don't really watch shows like that, so I don't really know a lot of actors. I just started like being on HBO Max or being on Peacock. I just started watching shows, to be honest. I don't know. I say my cousin, one of my cousins,
Okay, I'll accept that answer.
because they know me because they grew up with me. So one of my cousins could play me.
I will accept that. Alright, and every movie has a supporting cast. Who would be three people in your movie, and who would play them? But I feel like Lucha Pig has to be one of them, right?
He could be one of them, but if we're talking about the whole life of Mills, I have to think about my childhood. I have to have somebody that played my childhood best friend, D. Shout out to D, David Rivera. That's my guy.
Okay.
From we grew up. Somebody got to play my ex girl Chastity, because she was a big role in my life as a teenager, and we was together for 3 years in high school. So somebody got to play her, and somebody got to play one of my best friend Melvin.
Alright. And I think we'll leave it to the director to decide who will play these people.
Yeah.
Alright. Sounded like a great movie. Pre-order your tickets now. Alright.
The viral one.
Now on to a controversial subject. Pineapple
Okay.
on pizza. What's your stand?
Oh, oh. I don't know how people do that. I don't know how people do that. Like, I tell people this all the time. Why would you put something sweet on something that's sour? Like, who in the right mind would put a fruit on cheese? Like, that's how I think of it. Like, fruits don't belong on pizza. Fruits belong on salads. Fruits belong on, smoothies. Fruits belong on those type of things. Like when I think of a pizza, I think of people putting garlic, parmesan, and all those other oreganos, and you mixing that with pineapple, and it's a nasty taste. So it's like, why do it to yourself? Yeah, so it's like it's one of those things. It's one of those world wonders I will never understand.
Alright. What's your spirit Pokemon?
My spirit Pokemon, I got three.
Alright, let's
I
go.
got three. Charizard.
Alright.
I got Ivysaur, and I
Okay.
got Blastoise.
Sweet. I love how it's the evolved versions of the OGs.
Yeah, if you would have asked me this when I was 5, maybe 6 years old, I would have said Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle, because those are my top three. Always been my favorites.
And now you're the
But now I'm older now, so now I gotta evolve.
Yeah, I get it. Alright. We love the late great Tracy Smothers on the show. Do you know the acronym for Doug? THUG.
No, I'm not familiar.
T
What's
is for
the
terrible, H is for hell, U is for ugly, and G is for jail. Cause a Doug can't spell.
Oof, damn, that's crazy.
Think Logan's not teaching you the good stuff yet.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So why is those words the acronym? Like why do those words represent those letters?
That would be a question for Tracy Smothers.
Mm,
That was just the acronym he came up with when he was a part of the full-blooded Italians. Even though he was Irish. So I mean, there's a lot of gray area.
yeah, it's one of those things.
All right. Weirdest question you'll be asked on a wrestling interview: would you ever consider wrestling a Rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the
I
country.
was about to say
An
Dwayne Johnson,
actual
yes,
Rock.
in a heartbeat. An actual Rock.
Yes.
It depends who goes over. Who wins?
The Rock's going over.
The Rock's going over.
The Rock's going over.
I mean, if the Rock go over, I did my job right. I made him look like $100. So why not? You feel me? Why not?
All right, I love that. Just for context, there's this wrestler named Psycho Mike that wrestled in actual Rock for over 15 minutes. In a Tungsten Man match, an Iron Man match that lasts for 2 weeks.
Interesting.
Yes.
The Rock won?
The Rock one, yeah. Yeah.
That's a true professional right there, putting over the Rock.
Yes.
You could put over a Rock, you could put over anybody.
I mean, he Mike has put over some interesting items over the years. So.
That's a worker right there. That's a worker.
Yes. On a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do I see myself in 5 years? That's a good question. I see myself it depends. In wrestling, I see myself trying out for one of those major companies. But I still got a lot to learn before I get to those levels. So that's one place I see myself in 5 years. I see myself out of New York and somewhere nice, like a nice house, nice scenery, have a nice car, starting a family, stuff like that. I see myself doing that. I see a lot of things for myself in the next 5 years, and that's how you gotta look at it. You gotta be goal orientated. You gotta think about the future, because I learned, and I regret it because I learned that in a very late age. I learned that, like, thinking like that in like the age, I want to say 24, because when I was in my early 20s, my late teens, I wasn't really thinking about what's next. I was thinking about the now, But like I don't know if I met I had to meet. I'm sorry, yeah. I had to meet the people I met for order me to think like this. So it's like it's a lot that goes into it. Like I had to learn you got to make a 5-year plan because you don't want to keep being in the same place. You want to be better than you was. You gotta brainstorm. You gotta think. So in the next 5 years, I see myself maybe God willing in a major company. I see myself having a nice house. I see myself in a lot of things. So it's hard to say, but I see myself just achieving my goals. Let's put it like that.
All right. And what's a match people should go out of their way to see that best shows off what Millz Hendrix is all about?
Millz Hendrix versus Muya for the Innovation Championship, MAW. That's on my YouTube channel. That's one. Millz Hendrix versus Brother Greatness. That's 2. Millz Hendrix versus Fly 9 Noriega. That's 3.
All right. And
I'm trying.
I'll go into your YouTube and I'll find the match with the title match and the Brother Greatness match, and I will put them in the link below for anybody that hasn't seen it, wants to see it after this interview.
Perfect.
All right, and since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom. This is our speed round, our bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Dwayne Johnson.
Worst wrestler.
Oh, you can that I can't really answer that question because everybody you can't judge a book by its cover. You feel me?
Yeah.
Everybody's learning and everybody learning at their own pace. So I don't really think there's a worst wrestler.
Well, we'll give you the default answer, and you have chosen Eva Marie.
Yikes.
You're main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
Undertaker.
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
There's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of gems. Who would it be? I say Shelton Benjamin. Ain't no stopping me now.
That is a good one. That's a sleeper, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. I love wrestling music, so I have a playlist alone for wrestling music.
Oh yeah.
So I have a lot of gems in that. So I really had to think for that one.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is
real. You heard me?
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's it. You said finish the sentence. I said real.
All right. And we would have also accepted taste great on toast. Squash, fruit or vegetable?
Vegetable.
It's a fruit.
Really?
Yes. Tomato logic.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. I still, to this day, I still consider tomato a vegetable. That's just me.
Well, scientifically, you would be wrong. You would be wrong.
Yeah, but to me, because fruits are sweet, and there's nothing sweet about a tomato. That's just my opinion.
Well, you're a part of Squash Squad now, and that means a hell of a lot more. Alright, New Japan wrestler Taichi. His ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
I'm a more of a tights person, so I can't really answer that question. I like long tights. I don't really like the trunks. It's just not my preference. So if you ask me, I would say appropriate ring gear is no tights.
So no, completely cover the butt, the legs, the ankles, everything.
Yeah, 'cause I just feel like long tights look cooler. That's just my opinion. They just look cooler, and it's more like you could get more designs and more have a creative mind with your long tights than you have with your short ones. That's just my opinion.
No, I absolutely agree with that. I've always preferred long tights over trunks, but I can understand what some guys, want to show off leg day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can understand that, but
yeah.
not me.
All right, and the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever
Mm,
had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
no.
And that is the correct answer. That will
I,
conclude.
I I never I never even talked to anybody in the supermarket. I'm sorry about that, but like I don't know. Every time I'm in the supermarket, somebody do their own thing. Like no, it's like no. I'm from New York. Nobody want to have a conversation about anything in the supermarket. They just want their food and they just want to get out.
Yeah, I get it. Again, that is the correct answer. And that will conclude this interview. Thank you so much,
Mm.
Mills, for coming on and doing this with me.
Thanks for having me. I had a blast. I enjoyed it.
And we absolutely loved having you on as well. And can you tell everybody once again where we can find you on social media and your merchandise?
You can find me on Instagram or Twitter, Millz Hendrix BX _. You could get my merchandise on teesprings.com, link in the bio, and my pro wrestling tee store. Just look up Millz Hendrix.
And your YouTube as well.
Millz Hendrix is the YouTube.
Alright, and you don't need to type it into your Google machine. Simply go into the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox, click the link. A new tab will appear on whatever device you are on. You have no excuse. Buy a damn shirt. And of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment on YouTube and Castbox. Of course, this interview and all our interviews are sponsored by World Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us next Tuesday and Wednesday for new interviews. Follow the show at Wrestling with Eva on Twitter and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and a hell of a lot more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. You can follow Scooter at Scooter Dust, and on YouTube, The Remix, the only live alternative commentary for WWE PLEs. Join us this Saturday for the Royal Rumble. Alright, when I say wrestling wit, you say entertainment. Okay, Mills?
Yes.
For our special guest, Millz Hendrix, Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with...
Entertainment. Let's go viral.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.